Hello, so today I thought I'd talk about the topic of self-defense pens. So here I have a typical Bic pen, right? It's one of these disposable, pretty cheap. Now the reason I'm holding this up right now is because a pen, especially things such as this, are ubiquitous. They're everywhere, right? And when you carry this, it's like an everyday item. And I think that's one of the important things about a self-defense tool is it be something that you can carry with you every day. Now I'm not suggesting you try to use this as a self-defense weapon, but I'm going to go through I have quite a collection here, and we'll go through and see ones that are actually adapted for self-defense. Now, the reason I'm talking about a pen is because, well, it depends on the state or country you live in, your access or ability to carry certain dedicated weapons might be limited. But something like a pen, no one's going to ask questions about that. So let's go ahead and start by talking about the types of pen defensive tools that I'm not going to be covering. So those would include the James Bond-like pen gun. You may have seen them, and yes, they are real, and they basically are a tube that kind of looks like a pen, and it's developed to shoot like .22 long rifle, so small caliber cartridge, but yeah, could be deadly. But I'm not going to cover that because now you get in the whole deal with legals and firearms and all that. So we're skipping that one. The next thing I won't be covering are pepper pens. So this particular one is not a pepper pen, but it's about the exact shape and size of the one I had, but I think I've used it, and I think it expired a while ago. So anyway, so what a pepper pen, in case you don't know, is that essentially looks like a pen, almost the exact shape of this metal Sharpie that I have here, but when you take off the lid, instead of there being, of course, the pen part, you would have a spray nozzle, kind of like a can of spray paint, and of course you depress that, and then it would shoot out the mace or pepper spray that's in the body, right? And you can get a couple good sprays with that. But again, that's not the type of pen we're talking about here today. And the third type that we won't be covering are things that are basically look like pens, but then they reveal like knives and stuff like this. So what type of pens am I going to be talking about? We're going to talk about reinforced pens that are going to serve the function as a Kubotan. And if you don't know what a Kubotan is, I'll put up a picture. If you have no training whatsoever, just holding it in your hand and just, kind of just doing what you think you would do with it, kind of stab and poke with it, it is a force multiplier. But of course, it's way, way more effective if you actually have training in it. The locks, the pain compliance, and also the pressure points to strike, and the combination of doing all of those in like a fluid motion to keep your attacker off balance because he doesn't know what you're going to do next. Okay. Okay, so now with that being said, let's talk about some of these defense pens. The first, and these are going to be broken into categories too. I like to do that. So the first category are going to be pens that essentially look like regular pens, but they're designed to be used, as we said, like a Kubotan. So the first one I'll hold up here is this one. Alright, so you can see this pen is metal all the way, the whole shaft's metal, and everything on this pen is metal, okay? No plastic anywhere. And that's going to be a common theme from here on out, alright? So now this pen, as you can tell, it's been designed, it has some knurling up here, it has these pretty aggressive grip patterns right in this section. And yeah, and also up here it even has a dedicated glass breaker, so you can smash out a window if that's necessary for whatever reason. Okay, so this is a pretty good pen, and it kind of, if you think about it, although obviously it looks more aggressive, but if you look at it compared to a regular big pen, you can see that they're essentially the same size, okay? So this one's a tad bit longer, but overall it's not going to raise any eyebrows. So this pen is good, but the one downfall of pens like this is because they're trying to stay the same thickness as a normal pen. When you need to use it for a defensive application, they kind of disappear in your hands because they're so narrow. So, and I'm just using my bare hands, but if I, for example, had some like light dress gloves on, or even some winter gloves especially, this is just going to disappear in my hand. I mean, it'll still be useful, but yeah, I would like something a little more beefy, as you with the regular Kubotons, they're all meatier than this. Okay, so now if you want a thicker pen, you might go up to something like this. And this is kind of the second, I would say, out of the three categories. I'm going to categorize this kind of in the third. Okay, so we're kind of going to the other extreme. So obviously this is quite a bit thicker, and you can see that it has it's really purpose designed. You see all these fancy ports. In order, this is to make it lighter, but at the same time get the diameter of the pen up. And yes, now this is kind of a tamer example. There are some that are quite extreme. The thing about this type of pen is that if you're carrying this, say, in the office, I found that you pulling this out, it draws way too much attention. Everybody, for the first, they think, wow, that's a really cool pen, because it does look cool. That's kind of why I got it. But anyway, it draws a lot of attention, and with everyday carry tool, I kind of like it to be low key, and drawing too much attention isn't always good, especially from a self-defense aspect. But also, this kind of thing just gets people to want to borrow it and check it out, and they want to play with it and all that. And I understand that, but that's not something. I don't want to draw too much attention. So now let's go to the category 2, and that's where the pens I prefer lie, in that middle ground. From a previous review, you'll recall I reviewed this pen here. This is the U-Brands Monterey style, and I really like this pen. But it's not, although it does have a metal shaft, it isn't, I would consider, a true self-defense pen. But wouldn't it be great if there was a pen that looked pretty much exactly like this, but was a defensive pen? And there it is. So you can see, same style, in increased diameter, and it has the right length, and everything from the plunger up here all the way down to the tip is metal. And not only that, but the shaft of this has thick walls, so it's really a thick, robust pen, not just a plated pen. So here's a closer look, and yes, it functions as a pen. Yep. And unlike this one here, the ink cartridge can be retracted, where this one it could not. You can tell the difference in thickness if I hold them up together. See? Noticeable. And what I like is even this clip, because of this part here, which is meant to press it up against your shirt, but if you can put one of your fingers in there, and that kind of digs in and really gives you a good firm hold of this. So, not only does it look good, but definitely could be used if it needed to be, to, let's say, discourage someone from continuing the bad things they want to do to you.